Last Friday, without authority, the original documents related to Sun Road that had been the subject of a Charter Section 40 demand by the City Attorney's Office, under which I have the authority to review and take possession of any document in the City of San Diego. The original documents generated by Mr. Sexton were removed from the files in the offices of the San Diego to the Airport Authority without notice and without the permission of the city. Yesterday, we were able to retrieve those documents, to recover the originals, and to return them. We have been told this morning, contrary to what we were led to believe yesterday, that there are additional documents that will not be turned over today. Mr. Sexton has left the city. He will not be returning to the city according to the Council for the Airport Authority until some future time, unspecified. And therefore, the information we're receiving now is the additional documents will not be provided. After we received the documents, we made an inventory of those documents, and if you will recall that the information that we were receiving from the mayor's office and from the Airport Authority was to the effect that nothing could be further from the truth that Mr. Sexton was working on matters associated with Sun Road. Nothing could be further from the truth. Mr. Burson went out of his way to issue a misleading statement, and we'll have a transcript of that for you this afternoon, at the Airport Authority meeting, in which he disclaimed any connection with Aaron Feldman. Amongst the documents that we found yesterday, if I can have Kevin come up here. Mr. Sexton, of the entire plans of the Sun Road 12 building. Nothing could be further from the truth. Mr. Sexton had a complete, comprehensive set of the architectural drawings of the Sun Road building. And this is for Sun Road Centrum 12. In addition, you might recall on May the 30th, the mayor, in response to a demand for any documents associated with Sun Road, produced a series of documents to the City Attorney's Office, which have now been made available, in part, to the media. Not produced by the mayor at that time was a March 2nd, 2007 letter. Now, March 2nd, this was, the notice of hazard was issued on the 11th of August. The stop work order based upon that notice of hazard was issued on the 27th of October and then expanded on the 13th of December. So the mayor, or at least his staff, met with Aaron Feldman on the 19th of December, and the stop work order was lifted on the 21st of December. January, February, and into March. Now we have a letter from the mayor saying the city is involved in litigation regarding a building constructed by Sun Road. For a number of reasons, my office has unfortunately been unable to get a clear analysis of whether or not the building is a safety risk to aviation. False. The FAA had already issued a notice of hazard. The FAA is the authority, and any deviation from a notice of hazard in order to allow a building to go up above the established limit by the FAA requires a permit from the California Department of Transportation. No such permit was ever applied for. The FAA order of notice of hazard, which could have been appealed, was not appealed. So the first statement here that the mayor made in March was false and untrue, because in fact there was a clear indication of safety risk to aviation, and if so, whether there may be changes to operations or notices that would eliminate that risk. And that's the important language. Changes to operations or notices that would eliminate that risk. While the lawyers say that the lawsuit will result in the building being lowered, the outcome of any lawsuit is never certain. The mayor had the authority without any lawsuit to get the building lowered, but he chose not to do that, all on behalf of a campaign consultant. This letter was not shared with the city attorney's office. This letter was not released on May 30th when the mayor represented that he had released all the documents associated with Sun Road to the city attorney's office based upon our demand. And remember, there was an article in the paper, I think Ms. Hassmeyer even identified it, in which he said he would produce all the documents by that Friday. And in fact, the documents were produced the following Thursday, but not produced was this document. This document was withheld. So the document was withheld on May the 30th. On Friday, there was an effort to remove the document from the city to the airport authority, beyond the reach of the city attorney's office directly under Charter Section 40. The letter goes on to say, I would appreciate and am requesting that the airport authority assist us in analyzing the situation and working with the FAA and other interested stakeholders in an attempt to resolve this issue. The mayor represented that he was not involved in communications with Mr. Feldman after the litigation came on. Again, false statement by Mayor Sanders. The next document I'd like you to review is the 5/18/2007 email. Now this is particularly significant because it was on the 18th of May that I stood next to the mayor right here and had the mayor represent to you that he was in error for what he was doing and that he was not going to do anything on behalf of Sun Road. And shortly thereafter he attacked Sun Road for attempting to circumvent the limits established by the FAA. This email is sent from Ted Sexton to Kevin Haggerty, who's associated with obstruction evaluation at the FAA, and Kimberly Middleton. Draft presentation on San Diego hazardous obstruction elimination. There was no way for the mayor to take a position with the FAA to change the landing at the Montgomery Field Airport. Just think about what we would normally require for that to happen. There would have to have been a meeting of the Airport Advisory Committee to get their input. There would have had to have been a meeting of the Sierra Mesa Community Planning Group to get their input. There would have certainly would have to have been notice to Donna Fry of the changes that were being proposed because it was affect her district. That wasn't done. There was supposed to be a notice to the city attorney because this would affect the litigation. That wasn't done. So the extent to which the mayor went to cover up what he was doing, while at the same time standing at this very podium, telling everyone in San Diego that he had cleaned up the situation, was false and misleading. Then he goes on and he says, this is Mr. Sexton, we on our end are set pretty much on Tuesday at Meacham Airport at 3 p.m. to brief him. If that's convenient, thanks again. So they're setting up a meeting with the FAA in this email. That was at 1:09. Then, here we have an email a few minutes later further memorializing the meeting and setting the meeting up. Now, did he mention that there was going to be a meeting with the FAA in Dallas on May 18th when he had his news conference here in this room? No. Did he tell the city attorney? No. Did he tell the Pilots Association? No. Did he tell anyone in the media? No. Did he tell the council person? No. Did he tell the council? No. There was an intentional effort to continue to help a campaign contributor while concealing what was going on and misrepresenting the effort that he was making and suggesting in his mea culpa that he was taking responsibility, but he wasn't taking responsibility.